بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So inshallah we're moving on to another form of the masdar. So we've completed the discussion regarding the reason and the benefit of having two or more masdar for one particular verb. And we said it's either based on ikhtilaf al-lughat or they have particular meanings. Each different masdar has its own meaning. Thereafter we discuss some differences in the meanings, and then we discuss some kind of verbs which have particular meanings. Now we also discuss al-masdar al-mimi, that the masdar with a mim at the beginning is slightly more emphatic than other masadir. Now we're moving on to a masdar called ismul marra والهيئة. So a quick recap. We have here the muqaddimah where he discusses the purpose of this book. Yes. Then we discussed the difference between ism and fa'al. And we said ism shows thubut and fa'al shows huduth or tajaddud. Different aspects of the verb. The simple aspect or the reoccurring continuous aspect of the verb. Then in masdar, he discussed the difference in the meanings. And we also then masdar al-mimi. Now he's going through to ism al-mar'a wal-hay'a, also known as maf'ul. Okay, close the door please. Okay, so he says here that first thing he mentions that fa'la, the pattern fa'la shows marra. I mean it shows how many times the verb occurs. For example, he says here, the first example, qa'adtu qa'datan, that would mean I sat once. Ataytu atiyatan, I came what? Once. And sometimes you can have a ta at the end. And this is most common in bab if'al. So if in bab if'al, the masadir of the thulathi mazid fi verbs don't have a separate pattern. There's no, for example, so this fa'ala is for, so you have fa'ala, so for example, you can say here, you can say the ismul marra, the ismul mar'a is either from thulathi, I say here, ruba, it's either going to be mujarrad or mazid fi or rubai. These will come on the pattern of fa'alatun. So the fa'alatun pattern will show one occurrence, and the ta marbuta plus the masdar will also show what? The masdar plus the ta marbuta will also show the marra. How many times? قعدت قعدة, نصرت نصرة, I helped once. And أعطيته إعطاءة, I gave him once. استخرجته استخراجة, I took it out once. So adding the ta marbuta in bab if'al or any of the mazid fi will give the marra meaning. Yes. Then he also explains that fi'la shows hay'a, and hay'a means form, the form. So when you say fi'latun, it shows you how the action occurs. And he gives an example here, qitlata saw'in, yeah, su'in, both can be said. A bad way to die. So the qitla is showing with the mudaf ilay or with the adjective will show you how it took place. Because fi'la on its own would imply that, okay, description is coming, but without the mudaf ilay or without the sna'at sifa, it wouldn't show us the meaning. We need to have something after it. So for example, another example, fulanun hasanul rikbah, fulanun hasanul jilsa, the so and so person, he's good in his equestrian skills, riding skills. Fulan is good, the way he sits is very respectful or very distinguished. Okay, yes. Hasanut Ta'ma, he is good in taste. So when he, I don't know if he cooks, it's good taste, or when he tastes something, he finds it pleasant. But Ta'ma again, it shows the hay'a. And the last point he mentions, he says that sometimes we get a fa'ala, which is not a marra. For example, rahma. So rahma is fa'latun, but that's not for marra. Similarly, you get a fi'la, but it's not for hay'a. For example, shidda, that's fi'la. You have a shadda on the ayn and the lam. So that's not for hay'a. It's just that the masdar itself is formed as such. That's a bina of the verb itself. So just keep that in mind. So if it's not the asal masdar, then the fa'la and fi'la will show marra and hay'a respectively. The next point he mentions, he says here, the pattern maf'ala. The pattern maf'ala. It can be used to show the cause of something. So he's mentioned is under the ismul marra and the ismul hay'a, even though they're not marra and hay'a, because in books of nahwa sarf, they don't have a separate categorization for this. So he's brought this under this. If you look from istiqra and you look at many of the masadir found in the verbs, you will find that some of them show sabab, or some of them have said it's not only sabab, but it's what? Kathratul fa'il. It shows the abundance of it. What does this mean? I'll give an example of the hadith. Al-waladu mabkhalatun majbanatun mahzanatun. A child, he says sababul fa'il or sabab kathratul fa'il. Either it causes the action or it causes the action to occur often. For example, we have here mabkhalatun. A child is a mabkhala, a source of being greedy. Because if it's only you're alive, you have no children, you have money, well, it's like, well, what's it going to keep it for? To spend it off, enjoy myself, whatever. Religious perspective or worldly perspective, it doesn't cause you to withhold, you just spend it. And if you have children, you think, well, what's going to happen to them? I can leave something for them, they'll have a good start in life. So it causes you to be, to a certain extent, doing bukhl, keep withholding. And this can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you do it. Majbana, jubn is, what do you call it? Buzdili. Opposite of bravery is cowardice. So majbana is a cause of much cowardice. Mahzana, a cause of much grief. And that's why the Arabs say, tarkul asha mahrama. Leaving the night meal is a cause of mahrama, old age. Is a cause of old age. Okay? So another example which is applied is a saying of Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He says here, Ayyuhan nas, iyyakum wal bitnata min at-ta'am. And it has here, فَإِنَّهَا. Then the words that I've written as what? Maksalatun. It says here, Maksalatun anis salah. Overeating is maksala anis salah. It is mafsada lil jasad. Okay, and it is, this will be muritha. Murithatun. Yeah, so this. So what does it mean here? That bitna, overeating, is maksalatun fi salah. It's a cause of laziness in salah. Mafsadatan lil jasad. It is a cause of causing illness or corruption. Corruption is not the right word, but causing problems within the body. So again, maf'ala, maksala, mafsada, mabkhala, majbana, mahzana, mahrama. Okay, so all of these, this pattern, this maf'ala pattern, can be used to show abundance of the action or the cause of the action. Understood? Yes? Okay. The next pattern he's discussing is taf'ila. Taf'ila. He says the pattern taf'ila is used to show something which leads to something. Okay? لما يؤدي إلى الشيء. For example, we have tahlika. I'm not sure if that's one of the qira'ah. ولا تلقوا بأيديكم إلى التهلكة أو بك أو قراءة حفص عاصم استهلكة يؤدي إلى الهلاك. أي that thing which causes halak, destruction. So tahlika, that which causes destruction. تبصرة ما يؤدي إلى الإبصار, that thing which makes you look, which makes you use your basar. تذكرة, that thing which makes you do dhikr and remembrance. So the taf'ila has that reason. So next pattern we have here is fa'ala and fu'la. So fa'ala and fu'la, they show the place of the action, not in the same way that ism al-dharf. If you see the examples, it'll probably become a bit clearer. So for example, it says the word qata'a or qut'a. Now it isn't, it says makanul qat'i min al-a'dha. So it's the place where the cutting occurred. So let's say for example somebody's hand was cut, somebody's feet was cut, somebody's wounded somewhere. So the part where the cutting took place. So you can say it's a ismul zarf but in a maf'uli meaning as opposed to a fa'ili meaning. So for example, marji, it shows you where the fa'il done the action, or where the fa'il element to it. And these kind of have either the maf'ul meaning or the intransitive meaning. So qata'a and qut'a is that place where the cutting ended, like the cutting took place and it stayed there. Okay? Yes? Similarly, for example, it doesn't have to be a transitive verb, intransitive verb. Judhma or jadhama is that part of the body where the signs of judham, which is a form of leprosy or skin disease. So the judhma or jadhama is that part of the body where there is the skin disease. Sul'a or sala'a is that part of the head which is bald. So asla is somebody who's bald. So the sul'a or the sala'a will explain to you or depict to you that part of the head which does not have any hair. Okay, so it has a ism al-dharf meaning, but it differs to the normal ism al-dharf. Okay, in the way that it has a maf'uli element in qut'a and qata'a, or it just shows you where the effects of that action remain. That's probably a better way of explaining it. So this fa'ala and fu'ala shows you where the effects of the action remain. Yes? You got it? And the last point he's mentioned here, he says here, the fu'ala and the fa'ala, sorry, it's got one thing here. He says fu'ala. So the one before we had was fa'ala and fu'ala. Just fu'ala itself, it is also used for the fadla. Anything that remains, that is taken off. For example here, ghurlan. It comes in a hadith, you'll be resurrected ghurlan, meaning the males will be resurrected without circumcision. So that piece of skin is supposed to circumcise, that's called a ghurla. So the what remained after the action comes in a pattern of fu'la. So the ghurla, the qulfa, similar meanings. So fu'la, one is the place of the action, but in a maf'ul sense or in a after effect sense. And the fu'la especially can be used for those words that to show what remained after the verb or the excess that came off after the verb. Okay? Any questions? Yes? Okay. سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك.